Hi, I'm Dr. Wilshire at Missouri Fertility. Today we're going to be discussing informed consent with regard to donor insemination. Now, donor insemination itself is very safe, very little risk of infection or complications, but it has huge ramifications for both you and your potential offspring. Now, there are three scenarios that I'm going to use to exemplify why donor insemination informed consent documentation is very, very important. One scenario would be a man and woman couple, maybe married, and the man for some reason is sterile. He's had chemotherapy for cancer, war injuries, we could go genetic problems, we could go on and on. But the man has no sperm, but they're a solid couple and they want to have children together. In these cases, we can buy sperm from a bank and perform donor insemination. It is very important that before we do this, we document in writing that the female partner being inseminated and the male partner that's availing himself of donor sperm are doing this to raise a family and raise a child together. There are cases where a male partner of a couple that used donor insemination divorces the woman. For whatever reason, there's a divorce, and the man goes, it's not my child, I'm not going to pay child support. Well, in those cases, if you have a documented informed consent where the male clearly was counseled and understood what he was getting into, that documentation keeps that legal responsibility to provide child support and not shirk responsibility. So in that potential case, documentation very, very important. A second scenario showing the importance of informed consent would be that of a single woman. Woman is single, hasn't found the right guy for whatever reason, wants to get pregnant and start a family with donor sperm. In those cases, the consent form clearly shows that her intention was to get pregnant with donor sperm and that there was no male partner involved in this decision, or at least not legally responsible for this decision. Imagine the woman has a boyfriend, and this boyfriend or potential husband says, look, that's my child. I need to make legal decisions. You can't make them without me, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if you have documentation that you established this pregnancy with donor sperm and that he was not in the picture, that protects the woman or the mother from unnecessary legal harassment or complications. A third example that's also very common is that of a same-sex couple. We have two women. Many times they're married nowadays, and they want to start a family, and obviously they need donor sperm. The documentation shows that they both went into this decision-making together of the same mind, and this is very important when it comes to both birth certificates, where the female partner can be put on the birth certificate as the second parent, and also, unfortunately, divorces and breakups do happen, and the documentation shows that the two women went into this decision together. It protects the female partner that did not have the baby. It protects her ability to visit and be part of the relationship going forward, whereas without that documentation, she might be excluded, and additional heartache and uncomfortable things can certainly happen. So there are three scenarios that explain why documentation and informed consent is so important when using donor sperm. We can discuss additional details with you when we see you, but that's a very important document, and whenever we're using donor sperm, we will ask you and potentially your partner to sign it, ask questions, and document that you made that decision willingly. I hope you found that helpful. This is Dr. Wilshire, Missouri Fertility.